Oh, CO. Good evening, America. I hope all is well. Hold on here. Having trouble here. Where is everything? There we are. We're getting somewhere. All right. All right, and just up front, if I get booted off, don't worry. I'll be hanging there. I'll be right back because sometimes. I'll get these malware warnings and stuff, and I go to have it removed, and then my browser gets thrown off, and then I got, yeah, oh, what fun. Okay, I wanted to discuss some different things about what's going on in the world here in this country and all around. You know, what's happening now, what was happening yesterday, so to speak, and what's in the future. So, yeah. Now, if you think this is about just doom and gloom, no, you know, far from it. Actually, now I'm not going to be on here long, and this will be continued another time. When I go live, I will continue this, all right? So, don't be alarmed. And this is not about, uh, like I said, it's not about fear mongering. It's not about doom and gloom. It's about seeing the realities of things and then just knowing what you can do. And let me just say before we even get started is that are you prepping? And in case you think that prepping means you're wearing them aluminum hats, no, no, it actually just means that you're just being wise. You know, ants. Oh, look at the insects and birds and other wild animals and stuff. They prep, okay, because they got common sense. People don't. They rely on governments to take care of them because they're too dumb to take care of themselves. And that's the sad reality of it. Man, what does that say about how that we've all been guilty, allowing the government to take care of us instead of taking care of ourselves. We rely too much on the government. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. Don't rely on them. Be prepared. Set back food, water. And there is all kinds of videos, folks, here on YouTube. You can take notes and see what you can do. I know you got to work within your budget, but do it. Don't put it off until tomorrow or the next. I'll do it next year. Next year might not come. Heck, tomorrow might not come for us. But we got to think about our family, just like you think about life insurance and things like this, for your loved ones and on and on. Look, it's only common sense. Be prepared. Uh, hey, if you're living out in the suburbs or way out in the country and stuff, think about chickens and the type of chickens that won't, like if you're in the suburbs where you don't disturb your neighbors, what kind of chickens you can have and stuff where it won't bother them. And yeah, I know chickens can stink, but if you sit there clean it like you're supposed to, their pens and stuff. Well, hey, let's just face it. If you clean, guess what that means? Keep all that stinky smell down, and your neighbors can't complain. And there's certain chickens that don't make a lot of noise, so their neighbors still can't complain. Probably won't even know that you got them unless you go around and make a pinpoint about it that you got them. But the thing is, And if you got you a little garden out there of some kind, maybe you got you a container garden out there. Well, guess what? Hello, the chicken fertilizer, yeah, chicken manure. Don't put fresh manure in there, it'll burn your plants up. But they tell you how you can use fresh manure and make it into a manure that is suitable for your plants and won't burn it up, or you can just use the old manure and on and on and on and on, etc., etc., etc. Okay. But my whole point is that you can be prepared. Maybe rabbits, who knows? But, having a garden, some animals, chickens for some eggs, maybe meat, or maybe you don't want to slaughter your chickens, maybe you just want the eggs, but whatever. But the whole point is to be prepared. Also have your first aid kits and such. Just be prepared. And if you are ready, figure there might come a time that you're going to have to bug out, as they would say. Well, be prepared to do that. But the thing is, you can bug out, but if you're not prepared even for that, you're not going to make it. If you only got so many days of supplies with you and don't even know what to do when you get to where you're going or on your way to where you're going from point A to point B, well, first of all, you can't just totally rely on your supplies because eventually it's going to run out, if you're bugging out, for example, right? And even what you got at home, eventually, if you don't have everything there, it's going to run out. Then what are you going to do? So you got to make plans. Make plans. Know what you're going to do. But see, when the bad, real bad stuff happens, you're not going to freak out and panic. That's the good news. You'll know what to do, and you could survive. But you need to be honest with yourselves about the present and the future. But you also need to look at the past too, to remember history and also see everything that has led up to today and then what's from today till the days ahead. But you need to make yourself some notes to know what you're going to do. And let me just say, please, 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 I would love for you to be able to talk with Standing Bear Country Boy Explorer because, the doctors are not giving Lisa, his fiance, very long to live. They don't know exactly when, but you know what I'm saying. They don't know of next week, next month, next year, or what, type thing. But having have hospice there, to care for her, and he does need some help, and he needs prayers. And I would suggest that you get a hold of him, hold him up in your prayers, because see, remember this: the Creator can turn this thing around for her. It's not over till the fat lady sings. But I would sure appreciate it if you would pray. He really needs our prayers. She needs our prayers. And you need to do that, okay? If you are his brother or sister, as a lot of you have come to say that you are, then I recommend you hold him up in your prayers and that you talk with him. This has been really hard on him, okay? Now, I consider him my brother, my family. like I consider some of you here, my family and friends, and I just, I just do not think it is good that if we ignore this, all right? All right. Now, I want to share something. I want to let you listen to it, and then be sure to feel free to comment, and you can feel free to disagree. You can agree or disagree, or agree we disagree, and still get along, okay? Still be all, having respect for one another and caring about one another, right? So, all right, let's get in on this. All right. All right, I'm gonna play these not necessarily in exact order, but it's to give you an idea of things that some of this was like um, last month or month before last or whatever, and then some recent stuff. I just don't have the thing about the gun shooting there in Texas and also in I forget the other states where there was some other shootings and stuff, but y'all already know about those. So, all right, let's start with this one.
When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID, and he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all in the chip. So I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks.
Exactly.
So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip and it will log me in. And from there I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips as part of a dystopian future.
Install ingrain procedure with local anesthetic and you're good to go.
In Sweden, the microchips are already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards.
Which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden.
No cash.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
but even in this nation of early adopters, not everyone is racing to get chipped.
Feel less human. I will feel like a robot.
I think, it's so much more data can go into this, when it's in your body.
There's no central registry tracking how many people are chipped, but biohacker Hannes Wellblood estimates between 5 and 10,000.
In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
I think it'll be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin.
Okay. What do you think about that one? Now, I know some will say, that's a mark of the beast. Well, first of all, let me say about the mark of the beast real quick. All right. The mark of the beast can't be the mark of the beast because the son of perdition, the man of sin, the antichrist fellow himself has not revealed himself, so it cannot be his mark, okay? But it will lead up to it. But whether it's a stamp or a chip or what, remember, anything when he comes on the scene, anything that's either in your skin or on your skin or anything like that, whatever, that you can't buy or sell with it is not cool, man. It's not cool at all. It's something that you don't want. But anyway, but that's scary though, if you think about it. Going to a cashless society and seeing the way everything's gone, yeah. Real spooky stuff, I'm telling you. All right, here's the next one.
USA gives the World Health Organization authority to lock it down and establish a health dictatorship. Things happen secretly behind the scenes that we often don't know about. Things that dramatically impact your freedom. For instance, unless you watch this channel, you are probably unaware that on March 1st, the globalists used the Russian invasion of Ukraine like a smokescreen to invade the sovereignty of all the nations on earth. During that time, the United Nations met to draft a proposal, a pandemic treaty, to give the World Health Organization emergency powers over the nations. This treaty increases the WHO's suffocating power to declare unjustified pandemics, impose dehumanizing lockdowns, and enforce expensive, unsafe, and ineffective treatments. All of these things against the will of the people. On May 22nd of this year, they are going to vote on this proposal that essentially can give the World Health Organization unilateral powers to order lockdowns in any nation and take emergency powers from the nations.
Okay, now this was last month. Now, from the way I understand it, okay, the way I understand it, that they've already made their decision. That it's, our country's already said, yeah, okay, we want it. And a few other countries too. Not all of them were on board on that one, and I don't blame them. I mean, who wants these idiots taken over? You know? Because, I mean, you think about it. You just think about it. Having them taken over, and, they're always now talking about monkeypox and all this other stuff, and there ain't no telling what else that may be a real threat as far as viruses go or whatever. Heck, there might not even end up being a virus, but they'll say that there is. But you don't know. We don't know. But the thing is, leaving it up to these people, our and the administration that we got right now, they do like they did in China, and that's what the World Health Organization is. They're more political. They think it's about everyone. You may believe that these people are about just health. No, they're not. They're more into the global aspects of, well, world domination. I mean, seriously, think about it. All right. I mean, when you see all this stuff, they're talking about banning guns and all this other stuff. I mean, you hear all this stuff. You hear about all these shootings and this and that. I tell you what, that's pretty bad, you know. So if you look through history now, and then start looking into the future, what do you see? What do you see? And then you got all these wokers, these nutcases around there. They don't make no sense. There is no sense. There is no logic or reason to them. And these people that want to, are out there supposedly protesting about abortion, about women's rights, and Black Lives Matters, about that, all this other stuff, and no matter whatever else you got out there. And it's just insanity, right? It's just insanity. Look at what they're doing, folks. It's crazy. You see a cowboy? Where? I ain't seen no cowboy. How you doing there, bro? Hope all is well there, Danny. That but you have all these idiots out there, right? These wokers, you know, and these protesters for abortion and all this. And all these people, they talk about peace, but, peace and crying peace, 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 but all they're doing, all you're seeing is violence. And they're not about peace. It was just like back during the 60s when they were protesting the war. What didn't make sense about that? Okay, cool, bro. Yeah, back during the 60s, they protested the war and everything else, and yet they were doing and against violence, but look what they were doing. And look at the ones you today. I mean, like, look what last year, the crap we had, and this year, and all this. It's endless. So what does that mean? Think about it. I got just two more things I want to share. Okay. All right. Here's the next one.
Confirmed that they had spot with single surveillance vessel and possibly submersible vehicles as well. And that's, dude, we're talking like 10 miles off the coast of Maui and Big Island.
Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out. If you end up, is again one of the easiest. Download it. It's
assholes. Hey, first of all, Justin True, just want to say what's going on, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Thanks for having me again. It's been all quiet over here, so I haven't really figured there's any reason to call, but this has kind of been first time I saw it myself. I kind of got shaken, dude. We have give you a little backstory, man. We have a 36-foot fishing vessel that my family takes out on the weekends, and we just go hang out off this point, kind of off of the north side of Big Island in Hawaii. And everybody that goes near this buoy, all the fishermen, they all go out there early in the morning. There's tons and tons of these fishing boats. Started saying that there's these large vessels that nobody could hail, and the Coast Guard was following it. And we everybody saw this giant vessel that nobody could identify, and the Coast Guard and these massive surveillance Army planes or Air Force planes or possibly naval planes were following around. And it kind of hit me because for weeks and weeks we've been hearing in the news how there's been Vlad naval presence in the area. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks that was them, and it was a surveillance vessel. So they confirmed that they had spot with single surveillance vessel and possibly submersible vehicles as well. And that's, dude, we're talking like 10 miles off the coast of Maui and Big Island.
So I'm sorry, did you guys, you or somebody actually saw this with your own eyes?
Yeah, no, it was us. It was me, my brother, my cousin, my dad. We all go fishing a couple times a week, and we all went out to that buoy, that very, very north buoy, and we saw it ourselves. And it was a massive boat that looked like it had a military build, but it was not a United States vessel. I'm familiar with U.S. vessels. Around here, you see them all the time. You'll see the strategic strike groups, the rear strike groups. You'll see all kinds of reconnaissance vessels. That big golf ball I called about maybe 3 years ago. Remember I called about that golf ball 4 years ago? It's, there's all kinds of cool stuff, but this looked different. It was obviously different. And when we got back to shore and everybody was talking about it, and, even boats over radio was where everybody was discussing it, we got back and it turns out that it had been officially spotted as a Vlad naval vessel. And they identified one ship. I forgot what the name of that vessel was, but there was at least 3 or 4 other vessels that were in the area. And it was gnarly, dude. It was the first time I've ever seen any other military's vessels in my life. I've never seen any of that. So it was imposing, to say the least.
So would you say, so you say it's surveillance, so it's kind of a military style, but it's not, you don't see cannons on it. Basically, it's a huge Russian surveillance kind of sea vessel, or did you see weapons on it?
No, there wasn't any weapons that we could spot. Everything that we saw on it was communications or navigations. We didn't see anything on it. Like there's the 40 millimeter, 30 millimeter. There's all these anti-aircraft, and then there's a massive amount of armaments on everything else that we see. When they go by, we're like, oh, cool, look at that. Whatever the ship is. But with this, we couldn't see any offensive measures. But it was freaky because you don't hear often when we're out here in Hawaii, but who we worry about all the time is those red guys over to our east. And so we see something like this is the very first thing that a lot of the I'm a vet, but I'm one of the younger vets, and the first thing that the older vets, because they stay in communication, they're much more intelligent than us young folk, but they started putting together some ideas of maybe these for Vlad's vessels were coming out here doing surveillance for pre-operations. Here in Hawaii, not only 60 years ago, I think was 70 years ago, another nation in the Pacific used surveillance. And then shortly after, it was one of the largest attacks on American soil.
Okay. I'm going to stop it there. There's a lot more, but I'm going to leave off there. And so the question is, what is your thoughts? Now that was about a couple of months or so ago. I hear you, bro. I hear you. We have been having some rain here for the past few days. Today was pretty good, But yeah, I know what you mean about them dang storms and stuff. I think we're supposed to get some next week sometime. And it's like, oh, I always dread that part. But I have another thing here I want to show. Let's see.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Fundamentally.
Well, let's talk about what you can talk about to what Neuralink is, because the last time you were here, we really couldn't discuss it. And then there was a press release or something that sort of outlined.
Yeah, sure.
That had happened quite a bit after the last time you were here. So what exactly is it? How do you do what happens if someone ultimately does get a Neuralink installed? What will take place?
Well, for version 1 of the device, it would be basically implanted in your skull. So, but it would be flush with your skull. So you basically take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You'd put the electrode. You'd insert the electrode threads very carefully into the brain, and then you stitch it up, and you wouldn't even know that somebody has it. So then it can interface basically anywhere in your brain. So it could be something that helps cure, say, eyesight, like returns your eyesight, even if you've lost your optic nerve type of thing.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Hearing, obviously. Pretty much anything that it could, in principle, fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain, and it could restore limb functionality. So if you've got interface into the motor cortex, and then an implant that's that's like a microcontroller in your muscle groups, you could then create a sort of a neural shunt that restores somebody who's a quadriplegic to full functionality. Like they can walk around, be normal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
maybe slightly better.
Slightly better?
Over time, yes.
You mean with future iterations?
Yeah. Like the $6 million man. Although these days that doesn't seem like much. Yeah. Yeah.
$6 billion man.
Yeah.
So the hole would be small. How big would the hole be that you have to drill and then replace with this piece? It's only one hole?
Well, yeah, the device we're working on right now is about 1 inch in diameter. And your skull's pretty thick, by the way. So skulls are.
Mine is, for sure.
It might actually literally be. I mean, if you're a big guy, your skull is actually fairly thick. Skull's it's like 7 to 14 millimeters. So
that's probably a couple of inches.
A half inch, half inch thick skull ish. Yeah. So that's a fair bit of our we got quite a coconut going on there. It's not like some eggshell.
Oh yeah, I believe you.
So you basically implant the device.
And so it would be like a 1 inch square, or 1 inch in diameter.
Yeah,
so an inch circle, like a circular.
Yeah, I think like a smartwatch or something like that, or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you take this 1 inch diameter, like ice fishing, right? You ever go ice fishing?
No, but I'd like to.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
So you basically take an auger and you drill through the surface of the ice.
Yeah.
And you create a small hole, and
Yep.
you can dunk your line in there. So this is like that. You're ice fishing on the top of your skull, and then you cork it.
That's scary. Real scary.
Yeah, and you replace that, say, 1 inch diameter piece of skull with this Neuralink device. And that has a battery and a Bluetooth and a inductive charger, and then you also got to insert the electrodes. So the electrodes are very carefully inserted with our robot that we developed. It's very carefully putting in the electrodes and avoiding any veins or arteries, so it doesn't create trauma.
So through this 1 inch diameter device, electrodes be inserted, and they will find their way
like tiny wires, basically.
Tiny wires.
Tiny wires.
And they'll find their way to specific areas of the brain to stimulate?
No, you literally put them where they're supposed to go.
Oh.
Oh, see, that's really scary. And now, mind you, all these things I want y'all to think about what you heard. I'd have one more, just one more. I'm gonna pull up. I can find it here. Okay, I got this right here.
Their shotguns ready to blast away at the image of Jesus. The outrage is palpable. This is darkness versus light, period.
I think this isn't actually about Roe. Maybe it's about something more than that. Maybe it's about something much darker than that.
Indeed it is. This is Wretched Radio. Tucker Carlson of Fox News, whose stock and trade typically is politics. He waded into the spiritual waters to deliver a monologue that identifies the real issue in this country. You are seeing a lot of outrage because of the leak of the hopefully correct Supreme Court decision about overturning Roe v. Wade as really bad legislation. The outrage is palpable, and the anger is being directed at whom? That's instructive for us. If we don't understand who they're mad at, we're probably not going to understand what's really motivating their agenda. The left is not just mad at the Supreme Court. The left is mad at God.
Take a look at what Democrats are doing in Congress right now if you want a sense of what their plans are. This is a real passage from a new abortion bill the Democrats are trying to get through the Congress, and we're quoting. This act is intended to protect all people with the capacity for pregnancy.
Women.
Cisgender women, transgender men, non-binary individuals, those who identify with a different gender, and others.
Wokeism.
So there it is. It's not really about codifying Roe. Abortions for people who, quote, need them, safe, legal, and rare. It's about something much bigger than that. It's about displacing God as the great decider.
Okay. You hear that? the thing is, what is really sad is what Tucker said was true. And but what we've sat there and heard of all these events that's happening and stuff and all this. And this stuff is happening, every day, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. The news is full of it. You can find all kinds of stuff on the web. You can find it on social media, everywhere. You hear it, and folks, as much as we would love to hear some good news, as far as hey, food crisis is over and the economic crisis is over. I got news for you. We've done this country and the world. It is it is past the line, crossed over the line of no return. But I want to read something to you. If I can get, I got to get my glasses on. Well, dang it, dropping my glasses. Got to get my old specs on. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can go back over here. Find that again. All right. Okay. See, where was that? I'm trying to find it. Don't. All right. I was gonna write notes and stuff to get my thought going. And for some reason, I had a lot of pens I bought brand new and they disappeared. And I couldn't find my ink pen that I just used on the first. Okay, let's see. I think I got to go back some here. All right. Now, just listen and bear with me. I'm bringing in my point here. Let's see. This is in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. When mankind began to multiply on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were beautiful. All right, first of all, some people think that the sons of God are just men, and then you have the ones who believe to be the angels, which is the correct response, because if they were men, then going to Job. Job just in the book of Job describes the sons of God being at creation, and man wasn't at creation when the Creator was creating everything. No, it just wasn't. It just didn't happen. We're talking about angels, all right. All right, let's go on. The sons of God saw that the daughters of man were beautiful, and they took any they chose as wives for themselves. Then says, and the Lord said, my spirit will not remain with mankind forever, because they are corrupt. Their days will be 120 years. Not saying that a man's age, a man or a woman's age will be 120 years. No, it was saying that was from the time of that word being given there. That was how many years they had left. So just wanted to put that in there, okay? The Nephilim were on the earth both in those days and afterwards. Like when it says afterwards, meaning in the days even after the flood, like, hey, when Moses and the children of Israel and all of them were crossed over the river Jordan and Jordan and everything, there they were, So afterwards, they were, it said, when the sons of God came to the daughters of man who bore children to them, they were the powerful men of old, the famous men. In some of the real old, like 1611 type texts and stuff, that's in English, it would put it, like they were men of renown, heroes. They weren't good guys. These were bad guys. These were cannibals and such, right? That's very scary thinking, right? But anyway, and so throughout time, there's been this battle between good and evil. And y'all know in paranormal investigations, come across bad spirits and good, and all this. But the thing is my point is that evil does exist and good exists. The Creator does exist, very much so. And now a lot of people don't know it. I can't give you my sources right now, but I will at a given point when it's okay to do so. The reliable, very much reliable, it's a reliable source. Okay, these Nephilim, you're fixing to see them again. Yes, you will. You will see them. When certain things starts happening here in this country, you're going to see them. And the fallen angels, the very ones, you know about the UFOs and things, right? I'll tell you right now. First of all, they've always hated man. A lot of people think that they have nothing but good intentions, because the aliens. With all that's been going on with the UFO sightings and such, all right. No, these beings are not good. They never have been. They never cared for man. But a lot of people watch too many sci-fi movies. There's some sci-fi movies that's pretty cool, but in the real world, yes, you see the UFOs and stuff, and you've heard of abductions and stuff, and you heard of Area 51, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now they do work with the government in a hidden location. I can't tell you where this location is. The Nephilim, the giants, and the fallen angels, and all them. Oh yeah. They are actually, and I'm not joking, I'm telling you the truth, they are actually working with the government and they got plans. So they got some stuff going on that they're I'm just one guy, an old fart, who has a very small channel. I don't have a big voice like all these others do with a large following and all that. But I'm just trying to give you a heads up, more or less, what to expect in the days to come, what we're going through now. All this stuff that it's not by happenstance. You got evil government men who you have people in this world. I mean, you see it every day. I mean, evil things are getting worse and worse. Everything is escalating. All right, and it ain't going to stop. But and even another thing is a sign that letting you know that you're fixing to see some things that you never thought you would ever see. Okay, now you heard me once mention Israel. Now, if you're looking at a map of Israel and the surrounding countries, think of Israel as the bullseye. But while you're keeping an eye on that bullseye, you can also see what's going on elsewhere. But your main focus is on the events that's happening in Israel, as well as though you're sitting there seeing everything else. But the target, the bullseye, is Israel. All right? And with the book of heaven and the things of the last days and everything, is what you see happens there will also affect us and everyone else here around in this country and around the world, especially this country. All right, now because see, they're already started working on getting the third temple. Now, I know there's some people think about the replacement theology about, the church has replaced it. Okay, well, I can prove you that you're wrong right off, and it's not me per se. What if I told you we got a witness that can, more or less, that proves that y'all are wrong, or if you're on a replacement theology, believing the church replaced Israel and that the Jews are out and the church is in, let me read something to you, okay? Just all I ask is to listen to you, No, I'm not going to be preaching all the way, and all this. I'm just trying to give you some information about stuff that's going on. But since we're talking about Israel and the Jews, no, this is not about replacement theology. You don't say the church replaces the Jews, Israel, Israel is out. No, that's wrong thinking because I have one witness. All right, and that would be, y'all would call the Apostle Paul, okay? Now, in the book of Romans, where is that? Let me find that. It says he wrote to the Romans, all right. He said, I ask, then, has God rejected his people? Talking about Israel, okay. What does he say? Because see, that there were people back then that more or less was in that general thinking, or was pretty much getting there. So anyway, he asks a question, then answers it. I ask then, has God rejected his people? Absolutely not. For I too am an Israelite. Yes, Paul was a Jew, okay? And so wasn't Peter, all right? He says, for I too am an Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, or you would say Abraham, from the tribe of Benjamin. God has not rejected his people whom he foreknew. Or do you not know what the scripture says in the Elijah section? How he pleads with God against Israel. And Elijah says, Lord, they have killed your prophets, turned down your altars, and I am the only one left, and they are trying to take my life. And then it says, but what was God's reply to him? Hear the answer. God said, I have left 7,000 men for myself who have not bowed down to Baal. In the same way, then there is also at the present time a remnant chosen by grace. Now, if by grace, then it is not by works, otherwise grace ceases to be grace. What then? Israel did not find what it was looking for, but the elect did find it. The rest were hardened. Let me skip down. And then Paul goes on, said, I ask then, have not they stumbled so as to fall? Absolutely not. And if you knew anything about history, what was going on back then, you can understand why he was saying and talking the way he was talking. He said, on the contrary, by their stumbling, salvation has come to the Gentiles to make Israel jealous. See, that's why all the nations around there are, that's why you have churches all over, for salvation for all men, other than the Jews. Because why? He said to make Israel jealous. And so anyway, he says, now if their stumbling brings riches for the world, not talking about like money, talking about spiritual riches. He says, bring riches for the world, and their failure, the Jews' failure, riches for the Gentiles, how much more will their full number bring? Okay. He says, now I am speaking to you Gentiles. Listen up, for those of you who believe in replacement theology. To view, he said, in view of the fact that I am an apostle to the Gentiles, I magnify my ministry. If I can somehow make my own people jealous and save some of them, for if their being rejected is world reconciliation, what will their acceptance mean but life from the dead? Now, if the first fruits offered up are holy, so is the whole batch. And if the root is holy, so aren't the branches. Now, listen up. So now, if some of the branches were broken off, and you, though a wild olive branch, were grafted in among them, and have come to share in the rich root of the cultivated olive tree, do not brag that you are better than those branches. But if you do brag, you do not sustain the root, but the root sustains you. Israel, the Jews. Okay, we'll put it that way. Okay. It says, then you will say, branches were broken off so that I might be grafted in. In other words, well, they got cut off, and everything just went to us. So the church has replaced the Jews, the Israel. All right. He says, true enough, they were broken off by unbelief because of their unbelief. But you stand by faith. Do not be arrogant, but be afraid. For if God did not spare the natural branches, talking about Israel, the Jews and such, he says he will not spare you either. Therefore consider God's kindness and severity towards those who have fallen, but God's kindness towards you if you remain in his kindness. Otherwise you too will be cut off. And even they, if they do not remain in unbelief, will be grafted in, because God has the power to graft them in again. For if you were cut off from your native wild olive, and against nature were grafted into a cultivated olive tree, how much more will these, the natural branches, Israel, the Jews, be grafted into their own olive tree? And I will stop right there. Okay. Now, that's, it was just bringing in, just in case someone wanted to argue about that the church has replaced Israel, the Jews. No, I'm sorry. I mean, I just gave you a witness account, a message, from the apostle, himself, who was a Jew. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. You want to focus on what's going on there, because throughout all prophecy, everything has a lot to do with them. And also, because there's been this on battle going on against man, but especially against Jews, the Jewish people, because they are God's people. Okay, they were the first chosen. All right, the first one He chose. All right, there's just, I don't care how you want to look at it, it's just a fact. And let me just say, a real quick add-in, that no, He is not God, Yeshua, Jesus, is not white, He's not black, He's not this or He's not that. He's perfect, the beautiful, great one. So, yeah, that don't be trying to say, oh, he's black, oh, he's white. Get your head out of the gutter, you fool. People, we are in a time of a great crisis. You see it all going on. Because, let me tell you this much. Now, you will see it again. My sources is right. I cannot reveal the sources until at another time. But, Putin and Biden, they will be taken out. I'm not talking about like bang bang. No, 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 no. I'm talking about they will lose their offices, not simultaneously, but just one little after the other. You watch. But when that happens, you're fixing to see a big upheaval here, folks, like you ain't never seen. All right, and there's a lot I can say on that one, but I want you to think about it. But whether you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. But you can share your thoughts. The thing is, this country is going to fall, but you will soon see Russia attacking here. So they know, and you don't think you're going to see it. And then you're going to end up having China. But when Russia goes to attack, they're going to have Nicaragua, I can't pronounce it, Nicaragua, and Cuba, and I think Venezuela, I believe. But anyway, and there's some others. My mind's not focusing too well, but plus I'm kind of being limited on time here. But I wanted to share this with you, all right? Give you that, all right? I want you to think about that. They're going to do this. It is going to happen. It's not, it might. I don't know. No, I'm not a prophet. No, I have some reliable source that I can tell you that, yeah, all this will happen. But the thing is, you just want to be prepared, be ready. You don't want to be caught off guard with no food, no water, no way, nothing, help take care of your health or anything. If something happens, you need to have first aid kit. You need to make sure you have your grounds covered in that. on what you're going to do. There's a lot to be said, and you'll see some major stuff happening, but also you keep your eye on Israel, because there will be where they're going to have an actual two-state solution, and then you're going to see some real big trouble. But that also affects us and affects a lot of people. So I'm just putting that little heads up. I mean, I could go on more, but I don't have. I got to find my pens and everything so I can get my notes so I can kind of keep focus here. Um. This is part 3, by the way, and just kind of keep an eye out for part 4, because you're really going to be wanting to see that. But the thing is, we got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we see it every day. A lot of you, a lot of what I just showed you tonight, some of you, I'm pretty sure a lot of you has been aware of it. You mean you've watched them, you've seen it, but you haven't seen nothing yet on what's coming. So you got a lot of stuff in the making right now. Of think of it like a big pot of stew, and you're throwing in all the ingredients. You haven't got all the ingredients in, but once you get it all, I mean, you're gonna have one big old pot of stew that's going to end up eventually boiling over, and is it going to get burnt? So, yeah. I do love you, and I'm hoping that you will have a good evening or good morning, whichever the case may be for you. Um, I wish I had my notes and everything. I wish I had my pens. I gotta try to find them. And if not, I'll have to borrow some a pen or something from. Excuse me. Oh yes. I got to see about maybe borrowing it from my brother if I can get one. I'm hoping I can find them because I had a new pack of them, So I don't know where they went. But okay, but be sure you remember Standing Bear, Country Boy Explorer here on YouTube. Remember him in your prayers, okay? You remember him, and also go to check Danny Staten's channel out. Show him some love, okay? And also to RAF, Randy's Adventures in Family channel. Check him out. Show him some love and everything, all right? And there's a lot of others here. Also to Second Star Survival. Show him some love. Go to his channel. And to Dave Canterbury's channel. Go check him out. And also, don't forget Jeremy D. Day. Show him some love. And don't forget Brenda, her paranormal, cryptid paranormal, the hunter. Okay. Her channel there. Well, I tell you what, I'm getting where I can't remember anything. And don't forget Hawk's Paranormal. Go check them out and everything. And all right. Anyway, but be sure you go show them some love and be respectful to one another. And be sure you leave your comments, share, subscribe, hit the like button. Because of the stupid algorithms and all that kind of stuff they got here on YouTube. But hit the like and share this out. But you can agree or disagree or agree that we disagree or whatever. But share your thoughts, please. Would want to hear from you. Your thoughts and comments are welcome, okay? But always keep it civil, all right? And don't give others a hard time, because if you disagree with them and they disagree with you, don't start in. That's drama. Get too much of that. And we're too old for that. And at the time we're living in these days, you ain't got time for that nonsense. For those of you who do that kind of crap, all this stuff is going to hit you so fast and so hard, but when time is over and done, you ain't going to be prepared for anything. Except you're just going to whine and complain, and blame somebody, except yourself. Be a man or woman. Take responsibility for your failures. We all fail. I have failed on things, and you have failed, and we're not perfect, and give this in consideration. If somebody does you wrong, which we know how that feels, I know how it feels, especially if they backstab you. But look at it this way. Yes, you're going to always remember that. Can't help it. But forgive. Don't mean you're going to forget. Just forgive them. Go on with your life. Yeah, I understand what all that stuff's like, when people talk bad about you and everything and what have you, and they lie and stuff. Think about it, that's kind of the ones who are guilty of that are like oversized kids that ain't grown up yet. But the thing is, they got to grow up, and just hope that they do, if they ever do. But hope that they do. Just go on. That's all you can do. You got to not dwell on yesterday, but on today and tomorrow and the next day. And you catch my drift. So be good and excellent. Be excellent to each other. Famous words from Bill and Ted. I like that movie, by the way. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Adventures of some great knuckleheads. I suppose in a way they were kind of like woke, but they weren't into the political stuff. But oh, have mercy what we see today. Okay, enough said. All right. And I will on the Warhorse Experience channel, and I'll try to remember to do this on this channel. Show you the chickens, the uh, Buff Orpingtons, and the two Wyandottes that I got, and also my little black Asian chick that I had hatched here. What was it, last week and a half ago? That one hatched early, but it's normal, but it's a runt. It's a runt, but I call her Cricket, because there's times at night she actually will sound like a cricket. So yeah, I will show you that one and everything. So and I will keep you informed on my other channel about the incubator that I made. I showed you this one that I made, this new one that I'd made. I got it on the Warhorse Experience channel. So you can go over to that channel, check it out, okay? And I will do updates and stuff and letting you know how things are going on it. What kind of hatcheries can we get up to? All right, because, hey, I'm doing my part. I'm not made out of a lot of money, but, I let my chickens free range, all right? And, they do all that during the day. I let them loose during the day, and at night they come in and I lock them up. And it's a repeat every day. Let them do that. Kind of helps a little. The more that you have, the more you get rid of the bugs. But yeah, okay. Enough said. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just getting beside myself. Yeah. Dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. Yeah. Never mind. No, I'm not no Billy Idol. Okay, you take care. I love you all. Be blessed in all your endeavors. Stay safe, and please, we're living in a time in history, and things in this world that we really need to do a lot of reflecting on ourselves and in our lives, and leave off all the dramas, and yeah, even those who do us wrong, forgive them, and yet go on. You'll always remember, so that way you don't kind of get a repeat, so to speak. But you always remember. But it's better that you do forgive them, and just go on, and don't hold it against them. I mean, they got to live with themselves, and how the old saying, karma will bite you. Well, they're going to get bit if they don't straighten up. So there you go. I mean, we got our own problems, and in our lives, so we got to face and address our own problems and work on ourselves, even on today and tomorrow. Past is past. Sometimes it'll come up in our heads and try to mess with us, but we got to keep that in the past and try to just focus on the now. Past, that was yesterday, so to speak. That was yesteryear. Today is today, and tomorrow will be a brand new day. So let us handle each day as it comes. But anyway, I'll share more on part 3. And hopefully I'll have more of my thoughts more focused and stuff. I'll have my notes and all that. If I can find a dang pen. Don't have a printer, but ah, they're good to have, but who can afford it? I mean, the ink cartridges, I mean, the machine and the cartridges. No, thank you. They're good to have, like I said, but if you got one, yeah, it's great, that's cool. I just would love an old typewriter. I really do. That's old school, but that's me. On a straight up and forward is an old fart. Yeah. So you take care, be blessed in all you do, all right? And I will see you in the funny papers. You take care, all right? Later, y'all. I hope. And what do?